Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacob. This lesson will focus on perimeter and area, part 2. This video continues on from the previous lesson. Here we look at how to calculate the perimeter and area of three new shapes. The first shape is the parallelogram. Now, a parallelogram is a four-sided plane shape with the opposite sides parallel. Now, unlike the rectangle, these angles here do not have to be 90 degrees, those angles on the corners, as long as the opposite sides are parallel. So if we know the length of this side here, for example, which will be the same length as that one, and we know the distance between those two parallel lines, that is the vertical distance, the shortest distance between them, the area of the parallelogram is b times h square units, which is bh square units. So whatever the units are, that's what the area is. And in the same manner as the rectangle, to find the perimeter, just add the four sides. That's if you're given the measurements of the four sides, just add them up and that gives you the perimeter. This is a trapezium. A trapezium says that one pair of sides, the opposite sides, are parallel. So you just have to have, for example, that side there is parallel to this one. As long as you have that, and then you have two other sides, they don't have to be parallel, and it's a closed shape with four sides, that's called a trapezium. If we're given the length of the base, for example, and if we're given this length here, so that's B and that's A, and we know the distance between them, the perpendicular distance, to find the area of the trapezium, it's h over 2 times A plus B, and that's square units. That is square units, okay? And the perimeter, again, just add the four sides. So if you're given the four sides, add them up, and that gives you the perimeter. A rhombus is similar to a square, but it's pushed out of shape. It's both similar to a square in that the four sides are equal, and it's also similar to a parallelogram because it's pushed out of shape. But the important thing is the four sides are equal, and also the opposite sides are parallel. For the rhombus, if you are given each of the diagonals, that is the long diagonal and the short diagonal, the area is half the product of the diagonals. In other words, multiply the diagonals together and halve the answer, and that gives you the area. Again, that's square units. To find the perimeter, just add the four sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, if you know those measurements, add those up and that gives you the perimeter. Let's look at some simple examples. Here is example 1. Find the area of the parallelogram. We know the length of the base, which is exactly the same as that length there. We know the perpendicular height between those two parallel sides. So the area is b times h square units, which is 10 centimetres times 6 centimetres, which is 60 square centimetres. So the area of the parallelogram is 60 square centimetres. Find the area of the trapezium. Here we have a trapezium where we have 12 centimetres for the base, 8 centimetres for that length there, and the distance between them is 6 centimetres. So the area, as we were given earlier, is h over 2, that is half the height, multiplied by the addition of the lengths of the parallel sides. So we've done the substitution here. So 12 plus 8, that gives us 20. That's 3. 3 times 20 is 60, so it's 60 square centimetres. Here is the Rhombus. Now for the rhombus, we've been given the long diagonal and the short diagonal. And as we saw earlier in the lesson, the area is half the product of the diagonals. Remember, product means multiplication. So it's half times 8 centimetres times 6 centimetres. 8 sixes are 48, half of that's 24, so it's 24 square centimetres. So this video has looked at 3 more plane shapes, and we've seen how to find the area of each of those plane shapes. And as always, for the perimeter, all we do is just add the lengths of each of the sides together.